This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Well, all right. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin here on the afternoon show with my other boy Tony Gonzalez. How you doing, Tony?
Doing pretty good. A little warm outside, but doing pretty well.
Yeah, normally Gonzo would be here, but Gonzo, like the rest of us, is dealing with life issues. God, I love life. It kicks you in the testicles and expects us to keep on going. What a time to be alive. With that being said, hey, if you like today's content, please make sure you give Gonzo's Sports Room a like and subscribe on their YouTube, and also give ESEN a subscribe on our YouTube. We certainly do appreciate it. Look forward to the comments and all that entails. Without further ado, Tony, it is your show, baby.
All right, guys, let's jump right into some Major League Baseball. Got some big series coming up this weekend. I mean, there's just a little bit over 40 games left in the season, so it's getting down to nitty-gritty time. Big series, I think, of the weekend. Let's go over it first, Jay, and see what we expect. The Padres at the Dodgers. The Padres have a one-game lead in the West now. So what are you expecting from this series?
You know, I expect a lot of Padres, but I also expect the Dodgers to come up out and play, because they are fighting for that number one spot. You know, everybody has a team that owns them. I hate to say that word owns, but it's just absolutely true. You know, for example, I know I was talking with Bo earlier about this. He's a Seattle Mariners fan. And he was saying how much he hates playing Texas. He feels Texas gives Seattle everything that they can handle and usually takes it 9 times out of 10. I know for Houston, our nemesis or our kryptonite is Seattle. I hate playing Seattle because they kick our asses most of the time. And I hope Mickey Delaney and Robert Wardell don't hear me say that, because they're going to control me forever and a day. But, you know, and now it looks like the Angels seem to just have the Dodgers number, and that's just the way it goes sometimes, you know. But even with that being said, Tony, man, Padres are playing great ball. They've really fought hard to get where they are. They're really riding the high of that momentum, whereas the Dodgers are kind of coming off that low. And even some people are suspecting that Dave Roberts is losing a little bit of control in that locker room. But with that being said, I still think this is going to be a hard series, but I think the Padres are going to come out ahead. I would venture to even say that the Padres take 2 out of the 3. I don't think they're going to sweep the Dodgers, but I definitely think they win the series.
I agree with you. I think the Padres are going to win the division now. I think the Dodgers, and I don't know if it's the front office or if it's all Dave Roberts or a combination of both. I think they've made some mistakes, and I know a lot of people complain about their bullpen, and the bullpen has had issues. But they have not helped their bullpen at all with this Ohtani experiment pitching. When he pitched the most innings he pitched the last game that he pitched, it was yesterday, or the day before. He pitched 4 innings. That's the most he's pitched as a starter so far this year. He gave up 5 runs, four runs. Excuse me, 4. It may have been in 5 runs, but it's 4 or 5 runs he gave up. He's not. I mean, you know your bullpen is a weakness, and you're putting them in bad situations by having Ohtani come in and pitch and then make it a bullpen game. I don't understand that strategy at all. I would have waited till next year and started off spring training and pitched them. I think it's a huge disservice to that team by doing this. And are you going to do that in the playoffs? Are you going to put them in and pitch 4? Or like Chris had said before, put them in the bullpen and pitch a couple innings, every now and then. But I think it's a huge mistake, and it could end up that decision. I know he's a great player, great hitter. I think he's a very good pitcher, but he's not 100%. I think this decision could cost him the division, and who knows, it could cost him the World Series.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think Ohtani, if you're going to have him pitch in the regular season, which I personally, let me even rewind for a minute. Let me go back to what you said, where, you look at next season, maybe have him pitch next season. I probably would have rested Ohtani and just used him strictly as a hitter throughout the regular season. Then once we get into the postseason, if we're looking like we're battling and we got a legit shot to get to the series or be in the series or even to win the series, I think then in certain circumstances, I probably would have used Ohtani during that part of it because, you never know if you're going to get to the World Series. So I would say if the Dodgers made the World Series, then that's probably when I would, use Ohtani when I needed to use Ohtani or even if I had to use Ohtani. But ultimately for like this season, if you're going to use them, a middle relief, like sixth, like the sixth inning, fifth or sixth inning, use it, or even seventh inning, or maybe even as a setup guy for your closer. Maybe those are the types of roles to use Ohtani. He's certainly not going to. I would not be having him do 75 pitches. I'd probably put a 30 to 40 pitch count on him until he's 100%. And even that, in my mind, if you're not 100% as a pitcher, because you got to be careful because he's not like your typical guy. He's not like a guy that's only doing pitching and that's it. That's all he ever does. That's not what he does. You got this man playing every single game, whether it be hitting, pitching, and pitching. I mean, it's just it's too much to ask of any athlete. Look, that's why I don't like this whole thing with Ohtani. I understand the guy's a hell of a pitcher. I understand he's a hell of a hitter, whatever. But I don't think he should be an all the time hitter pitcher. I think, maybe certain situations, maybe certain series you have him do that in, whatever the case may be. But it's like Travis Hunter. They're like, well, don't do Travis Hunter, offense and defense. Maybe have certain packages or whatever, but don't because the body just isn't meant to go that damn hard. It's just not. But the good thing for Ohtani is even when he can't pitch, he can still hit. So for a personal thing for Ohtani, he still has something to fall back on, right? But at the end of the day, right now, Dodgers are on a 4-game losing streak. Padres are on a 5-game winning streak. And it's a 100% setup for the Padres to take that series.
And like you said, Jay, I mean, he's going 100% all the time. Not only is he a great hitter, also a power hitter, also a pitcher, he's a very good base runner and steals a lot of bases too. So he does it all. And you talk about taxing your body. I think they got to be careful. And I think they've made some mistakes with some of their decisions. Of course, when you're paying them that kind of money, you're trying to get the most out of them that you can. So I understand that. But I think he's helped the team a lot. But I think with that pitching thing, I think he's hurt the team.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the Dodgers is they've had so many injuries over so many periods of times. It's crazy, man. Like even when I look at their depth chart, I was looking at today. You look at that bullpen, which is really I think where Ohtani would be most effective. Yates is on the 15-day, Kopech is on the 60-day, Stewart's on the 15-day, and that looks like the limit. But they got 1, 2. They got 3 guys or 3 or 4 guys. Yeah, 3 guys. They got 3. Oh, and their closer, Tanner Scott's on the 15-day. Yep. So you got their backup closer, I guess, Casparius or whatever. And then you got some other guy named Vesia. I don't even know who those 2 dudes are, so I really can't speak much on them. But they definitely have quite a bit of pitching, though, honestly, that's on the IR. So maybe you pull Ohtani away from the starting lineup and just put him in the bullpen and let him get some bullpen minutes to keep you active. But you got Yamamoto, you got Glasnow, you got Snell, who looks to be off of the injury list now, and Kershaw, Kershaw is actually pitching tonight.
Yep.
So I think you got enough starting rotation pitching, at least for the regular season. I would take Ohtani out of the starting lineup. I'd put him at middle relief, let him help out that bullpen since the bullpen is in such disarray. And I think you pressure forward towards the postseason like that. And then once you get to the postseason, you reevaluate everything, look at the injuries, look who's back, things like that. And then maybe, you figure it out from there. But I don't think right now he should be, I'm with you. I don't think he should be pitching in the starting rotation at all. I think that's a travesty to his health.
Well, and that's one of the trades that they made that surprised me. And I know he didn't have a great earned run average, but sometimes that can be misleading because you can have 2 or 3 bad games. It can really throw your earned run average crazy, and then you can start pitching better, and it takes a while for that to go down. And that was Justin May. They traded Justin May to Boston. His first start at Boston, he pitched 6 or 7 innings shutout baseball. And, I mean, why didn't they move Justin May to the bullpen? Because they didn't get hardly anything for him. So that was a puzzling trade that I thought the Dodgers made.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Kershaw does tonight. Kershaw is such he's so injury prone. Like you just never know. I mean, if he's gonna tweak something left or he's gonna tweak something right. I mean, he's what, 36, 37? I mean, I don't know, man. I think that guy is just always one step away from an injury. So even though I know he's riding the rotation now, I want to see what this Dodgers rotation looks like come October when playoff ball starts and who they have and who they don't have.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Let's move on to another big series. The Reds and the Brewers. The Reds are only half game out of first place now, or excuse me, out of the not first place. Excuse me, I wish out of the wild card. Misspoke there, but been playing fairly decent here of late. The Brewers are like eight games up in the Central, so they've got pretty good control of the Central Division right now. The one thing that was nice Wednesday night, the Reds did bring back Hunter Green, and he pitched fantastic. 6 innings of shutout, 3-hit baseball, so that's good news for them. And so it's going to be a big series. Brewers are got a lot of stud pitchers going this weekend, and the Reds have got a pretty good rotation going too. And it's at home. It's like me and Chris talked. Of course, we want to win this series, but the main thing that we can't have happen is we can't get swept. We got to at least get one. But our hopes is, of course, we'd love to get a sweep. But our biggest goal is try to win the series and get 2. And we need to start off good tonight. So we'll see what happens there. Jay, what's your take on the Reds and the Brewers?
Yeah, my take on the Reds and the Brewers is I think you just, like you said, I think you need to take one. Don't worry about trying to win the series. Don't worry about trying to sweep the series, whatever the case may be. Just get the one, because the one does a lot for you. And here's why. Number one, nobody wants to see the Brewers keep on this damn 12-game winning streak. So it'd be nice to bring them back down to earth for a minute. Yeah. Number two, though, which is more the important side of it, is you got to take one game to keep yourself within reach of the Mets. Because I don't know what the Mets are going to do with Seattle. Like I said, it would not bother me one damn bit if Seattle was to sweep the Mets. I really actually would kind of look to see them sweep the Mets. I told you earlier in pre-show, I hate the Mets and I hate the Yankees, and nothing would make me happier than to see both the Mets and the Yankees on the sidelines and not in the playoffs. That would make me ecstatic, and I hope that happens. I really do. And if that was to happen, let's say the Mets get swept, and that's 3 games that you guys are. That could potentially, if you guys win 1, you lose 2, though. That could move you. Probably, correct me if I'm wrong. That would move you into the wild card spot, and I think the Yankee or the Mets would be out of it because they're up by half a game. But if you won 1, and you know what I'm saying, I think if I'm doing my math right, I think that puts you in the wild card.
Yeah, I really think that the game tonight is really important. If the Reds could win game 1, it really takes a lot of pressure off them for the next 2. So, I mean, I'm not saying that they would win the next 2. I think it just takes the pressure off because you already got 1. I think they really would loosen up. But like I said, right now, of all the teams in baseball, I know they're hot, but when you sit down and I can look at the Reds and I see the weaknesses. We've talked about the Dodgers' weaknesses. We talked about the weaknesses that Houston has. Right now, and that don't mean they're going to win at all, but right now, I don't see any glaring weaknesses that the Brewers have. I mean, they're just doing everything well. They're pitching, they're hitting, defense. I mean, right now, they're not showing any weakness. Now, of course, that can change. We still got, roughly 40 games left. But right now, the Brewers are a complete team. They really are.
Yeah, I told Philly Sports Guy that. Hey, what's up, Joe? Good to see you, Bubba. Yes, you're right. Even the A's have our damn number. But I will tell you, it's interesting to me, Joe, and I think Joe will agree with this. I know he heard Pags, Philly Sports Guy, say this, and I kind of tend to agree with him a little bit, is that maybe Milwaukee is peaking too soon, right? Maybe their best baseball is coming too soon. And, everybody can cool off. I remember when the Yankees came out in 2022, and they came out sizzling up until the last series before the All-Star game, which is when they played Houston, and we took that series, and then we came out of the All-Star break, and took the double hitter from the Yankees to go on and eventually win the pennant. But I'm saying we have seen teams come out just like the Brewers are, red ass hot, and you think they can't be beat, and then all of a sudden the train wheels fall off and they look beatable. So right now, I will tell you, the Brewers are definitely playing the best baseball I have seen in quite a long time. I just want to see what it looks like a couple of weeks prior to October.
Yeah.
But if you're right. But if they go into the first week of October, Tony, as hot as they are right now, yeah, it's going to be ugly.
Well, you got to remember, look how Detroit started off, and they've cooled off a lot. I mean, at one point, they was 11 games up. Now I think they're only like 4 or 5 games up. So things can change. But you got to remember, Brewers got off to not a real great start. It's been about that month of late May that they picked up. They picked up in about May, middle of May or end of May, and then they just been, they've been really good June, July. I mean, they've been good now for about 10 weeks. And so we'll see. They could cool off. I mean, just like, look how hot Houston was in the month of June. And then, of course, the injury bug kept going for them, and then they cooled off. But it's going to be interesting. And you did mention the next series we're going to talk about a little bit, Seattle and the Mets, big series. Seattle's a game behind Houston now, and the Mets have a half game lead over the Reds in the wild card. So big series for both teams. I know what you think. Okay, you said you'd like to see Seattle sweep all 3, but what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Seattle's pretty hot. The Mets aren't. Mets struggling.
I definitely think the Seattle is going to win. I mean, I've been wrong, but I think at the very least, I think Seattle wins this series. I don't know if they're going to sweep them. I do think that they're going to win the series against the Mets, because right now I said the Mets are riding that momentum of that losing streak, and the Mariners, they just came off a winning streak. I think it was like 7-game winning streak before it got snapped. So I think Seattle right now is just playing the more inspired baseball, and I think New York is still trying to figure out how to end the bleeding or stop the bleeding. So I think because of New York coming into the Seattle series bleeding, that I just feel like Seattle's got all that momentum, and with Suarez and Naylor as these new additions to an already good offense and their pitching being the way it is, I just think that Seattle's going to win that series. Not that I want them to, because I want them to, but I don't want them to. Tony, I'm in the middle. I'm just like, hey, whatever happens.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. And then next, the other big series, your Houston Astros taking on Baltimore at Houston. Again, Houston has that 1-game lead over Seattle. Baltimore's been struggling, but they did come off a good series with Seattle, won 2 out of 3. So Baltimore playing a little better, but I think I don't know if Houston gets the sweep, but I think Houston wins the series.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that we should be able to sweep the Orioles, but I think it was Seattle, that didn't sweep them. I think we can do it. Do I think it's? I would say we're probably 35 to 40%. I would feel 35 to 40% positive that we'll sweep them, but the other, 55 to 60% of me says, we'll probably just win. Hopefully, we'll just win this series and keep trucking. But I'd like to win this series. And the reason why I feel like we have to sweep this series is because of how good Seattle is going against New York, and I feel like there is a possibility that Seattle could sweep them. I don't know what's going to happen there. All I know is we need to sweep our series to extend the lead or give ourselves a little bit of a cushion over Seattle. If Seattle was to win the series against the Mets, we need to build a little bit of a cushion, and I think by sweeping the series, we would do that. And so we'll see what happens. I do know this: the Mets are half a game away from being out of the wild card, and so are the Yankees half a game from being out of the wild card. The problem with the Yankees side of it, why I think the Yankees could possibly hold on to that last playoff spot, not because they're playing great baseball, but because, like we said earlier, the Guardians' schedule is ridiculously hard.
Yep.
And I think they're going to have a much harder climb to get into the wild card than the Yankees are to keep the wild card.
That's true, but one thing I have to say about Cleveland, they are playing really well right now. I mean, they've been one of the hotter teams in baseball since the All-Star break. But like I said, that tough schedule can get you. But sometimes, like the Reds play tough. They're tougher teams better than they do the teams They don't have good records for whatever reason. It shouldn't be that way, but they do. And I don't know about Cleveland because I don't follow Cleveland like that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because Cleveland's come. I mean, Cleveland was 6-7 games back at All-Star break. Now they're a half game out of getting into the playoffs. So as a wild card, so it should be interesting. Jay, you got anything else for baseball before we move on to NFL?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I know a lot of times we thought Texas might creep up into this, but right now Texas is batting 500, 61 and 61. I think they did get one. I think they took it. I can't remember if they took the loss or took the win, but either way, they're playing 500 ball right now. And I just say Texas, I think at this point, they're 3.5 out of the wild card. It's not like they could not get back into the wild card, but they're going to have to right the ship over there and really start playing, more aggressive offensively if they want to get back into this. I know they're 3.5 out, but it's just, I don't know, Tony. I'm looking at a team right now that just doesn't look all that inspiring when I watched them play. And I watched them play the other night, and they didn't look all that inspiring.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, Jay, we'll move on to the NFL. I had one thing from the NFL, and I know you got a couple of things. But what I've got is, of course, everybody's seen in the last weekend, the Jacksonville Jaguar kicker, Cam Little, kicked a 70-yard field goal. Of course, it was in preseason, so that's not considered a record. But the thing that I did read today that I thought was pretty interesting, Jay, in high school, he was 24 in kicks. College, he was 129 of 129. And in pro, so far, he's 35 of 35. He's never missed a kick in his career. I don't know about middle school or elementary, but that is amazing.
I mean, I don't know how you don't miss a kick. I mean, how long has he been? Is this? I really don't know much about this kicker. Is this his first? Is he a rookie or has he been in the league for a little bit?
Well, in pro so far, he's 35 or 35. So I'm going to say if he's 35 or 35, he's been in the league for at least a year. He's been for a little bit, yeah. At least for a year. Never missed a kick in the NFL, huh? Never missed a kick in the NFL. Never. And I don't know about preseason. I probably just checked. They're probably just going by regular season stuff. Never missed a kick in college games. Never missed a kick in high school, and never missed a kick. And when they say miss a kick, I think they're talking about extra points and field goals, I believe.
I would imagine so. I can't imagine them not, or they're excluding one category, the other category. I think they're probably talking about consecutive kicks. Wow, man, that is impressive. I'm just surprised he's not more well known. I mean, I know his last name is Little, I believe.
I never heard of the guy before.
I never heard of him either. But so I'm just wondering, how long has he been in the league for? I know he's 35. But I'm curious as to when he came in the league. I think he's Buffalo. Doesn't he kick for Buffalo?
No, he kicks for Jacksonville.
Or Jacksonville. Okay, Jacksonville. Yeah, that's interesting to me. Never missed a field goal. I mean, I wonder how many attempts. Does it say how many attempts he's had?
At pro, he's 35 of 35.
Damn. So he's only had 35 kicks in the NFL.
That's why I think he's only been in the league for a year, maybe at the most 2 years. At the most 2 years. It couldn't have been unless he had just hopped around places and just kicked here a little bit here and there. I don't know.
No, I'm thinking you're right. I think he's been in for a year to go. 35 kicks. I mean, it's Jacksonville. I mean, that's not really a large sample size to get too impressed about. But still, 35 for 35 is a good number, and a 70-yard to boot, even though it's preseason. I mean, that's
129, 129 in college. That's something else because you've seen college kickers. A lot of college kickers are not great.
Yeah. I was looking for. Let me see here. Hold on. Yeah, is it Cam Little or is it
Cam Little?
Cam Little. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He don't. Oh, he's 20. No, he's 21. Tony.
Okay.
He was born in 2003.
Okay, so this can't be his first year in the NFL, is it?
I would say it's his first year in the NFL.
And how's he 35 in pro then? Did he maybe play in another? Did he play in Canada or something? Maybe pro league.
Because even when I look at his career only gives you preseason.
Huh. Well,
there's nothing before preseason.
Huh. Yeah, because what I read today said he was 35 or 35 in pro. So did he?
I mean, I don't know where they would get that from because on here it says he's 4 for 4. Oh, but that's on the specific. Hold on, that's no for his career. For the career, they give him a 93.1. He's 27 and 29. He's 8 of 8 from 20 to 29. He's 6 of 6, 30 to 39. He's 8 of 9 from 40 to 49. 5 of 6 for 50 plus.
Well, that's a different article than I read. Did it say what team?
And he's got 27 extra points. He's 27 for 27 at the extra point. Yeah, at the extra points. So that's what I'm showing on Cam Little.
Well, that's interesting because that's not that because I read that article today.
Yeah, I think somebody must have put a typo or something there.
Yeah.
Or they didn't proofread it. Excuse me. Or they didn't proofread it. I'm thinking they didn't proofread it or something. Who knows?
I'll have to go back and read that article again. Check it out.
I mean, that's the data that I pulled off of ESPN.
Yeah. Okay.
Their actual website, but either way, man. I mean, look, he's not a bad. He's obviously a good kicker. Since he's been in the league. He's only 21, and then since he's been in the league and kicking, he's only missed 2.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. Well, Jay,
preseason.
Yeah. Jay, I know you had a couple other things in the NFL.
Yeah, so obviously, as everybody knows, Isaiah Bond has been cleared of all the charges that he was facing, and he is signed now with the Cleveland Browns. And so you got to think Cleveland got him on a probably league minimal deal coming off all that craziness. I'm curious, man. I don't think they're paying a whole lot for Jerry Jeudy really either. I think they're giving us a little bit of money. And then they got Tillman at the number 2 spot. The point I'm making is they got a pretty good, or they're building what looks to be a pretty good wide receiving core and really not breaking the bank against the cap, Tony. Keeping it cap friendly. Now, the quarterback situation, I mean, we'll figure out who's going to be the quarterback. But so far, they're definitely giving whoever is going to be quarterback, they give him another weapon because Bond is a fast dude. Like, that dude can run. Yeah, I mean, he can flat out run. So I'm wondering if Jerry Jeudy will be like your slot guy, and then have Isaiah Bond be your deep threat. I mean, and then have I guess Tillman would be just your wide receiver, or whatever, or possession guy, whatever. But Cleveland is starting to build a little bit of at least a little bit of a wide receiving core over there, silently building it.
I think Cleveland, I hate to say this because it's probably going to come back to bite me, seems to be moving in the right direction a little bit. The only thing I worry about, Jay, is something that just popped in my head. Let's say that they go win 3 games this year and the quarterback play is terrible and they get the number 1 pick in the draft again next year. Do they take a quarterback again?
God, you would hope not, but at the same time, I mean, if you had the number 1 spot, and if Archie, well, I don't think Archie's going to come out this year, so I don't think that would necessarily be an issue. I think Archie's going to wind up doing 2 years before he goes pro. At least that's what I've heard so far on him.
That's what they say.
If that's the case, I'm probably drafting, positional needs. I look at my offense, I look at my defensive lines, and I'll be looking at the trenches, trying to upgrade in the trenches. Honestly, that'd probably where I'd be most of my. And I would honestly tell you, I'd probably be looking at the offensive line so that I can protect these quarterbacks that I'm about to throw up in there.
Let me ask you something, Jay, because you mentioned Archie. But what happens if Archie in Texas wins the national championship and Archie has just 40 touchdowns and just has a tremendous year? I mean, I think it would be a mistake to go back to college.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
it's a little bit different because
I guess it really depends on how you look at it. I mean, I think if he balled out like that and they won the national championship, he was just playing. I mean, you never say never to anything. Could Archie come out and go pro? Sure, he could. And probably would. Staying in for an extra year and get a little bit more development. It's not going to hurt him either. I just fear that if he goes to the NFL, and I don't know who he's going to go to, whoever's, I guess, worse at that particular time, is it going to be, like what is the expectation going to be for him? You know what I'm saying? Like he's only had 1 year as a starter. If he goes to a team that may not have as good of an offensive line, and maybe he might take a lot more pressure than he would typically at Texas. How is he going to handle the pressure? Is he going to get exposed? What if he can't handle the pressure? I'm not saying he can or can't, but what if he gets exposed? And then what if he gets injured? What if, that damn offensive line, which is patched together with holes, what if they get through there and blow him out? And then he takes injury. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm Archie. And then if that's the case, if you're Archie, do you pull your uncle and go Eli Manning and say, hey, I ain't going there. I'm going to go here and then pull that off. I don't even know if that's possible anymore.
Well, that's the one advantage he's got. I mean, they can see who's, if they say Cleveland got the first pick in the draft, they can just say, hey, we're not coming out. We don't want to play for Cleveland, so we're going back to Texas next year.
Oh, for sure.
So, and that's the one key. They still can get paid big money. But my only thing was about that, like you said, you could go to Cleveland or wherever and get hurt because the offensive line's bad. But you could go back to Texas, and even if you had a great year, go back to Texas, and you never know, you could get hurt and never get an NFL career. So it's a tough decision that they have to make. But yeah, don't be surprised if they don't want to go somewhere. The Mannings are done proved. If they don't want to go somewhere, they're not going to go.
Well, one thing for Archie is that may be a little bit different than some of your average guys coming out of high school or out of college to the NFL, or out of high school, college, whatever the case may be. A lot of these guys, when they get to the NFL, and I'm sure that maybe they got a little bit, and if they're that good, they should have gotten at least a little bit of NIL money in their pockets. But the thing is if they didn't make it, let's say they come out of NIL money and go to pros and just stink up the joint, whatever the case may be, hey, they probably got a little bit of money in their name, as long as they didn't blow it, because it seems like a lot of these college kids, they kind of blow that money a little bit on cars or whatever. Maybe they don't have necessarily something to fall back on. One thing about Archie Manning is, that family, with the amount of money that family has, he ain't gonna have to worry about money for the rest of his natural life, regardless. So I don't know how he looks at it. Does he just look at it from a money aspect, or does he looking at it from, maybe I need to go back and stay in school because I need another year of development? Or his uncle saying, hey, do one more year, get that one more year of development before you just jump straight into the pros. I mean, I don't know what kind of advice his uncles are giving him, but I would say this, that I think Archie's going to make the right decision no matter what, because there's just way too much experience and his grandfather and his uncles, even his own dad, that would steer him wrong. And I think they all have kind of an understanding.
But Jay, can you imagine the pressure that kid's going to be under when he goes to the NFL? I mean, because his grandpa, his two uncles, I mean, all been very, very successful. I mean, it's not. Look at the pressure Sadir Sanders is under, and he's not near the player, But look at the pressure just because his last name's Sanders. Look at all the good press and bad press he gets. I mean, that's the problem. You're gonna get a lot of good, but you're gonna get a lot of bad, no matter because of the name.
I mean, let's be honest. Game 1, week 1, debut 1 of his. Well, it won't be his debut. He's already debuted, but definitely week 1, game 1 of this year. His first opponent's Ohio, coming off a championship in Ohio.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure just that. I mean, let's not even get to the NFL, because that will definitely be a pressure situation depending on what team he goes to and the lack of whatever they may have. But before we get there, we still got to prove ourselves in college. And right now, all he's riding right now is a high school record, his daddy's last name, and a couple of good games against some scrub teams when he filled in for Quinn Ewers. So, I mean, before we even get to that train, he still has to prove himself that he can beat the best team of last year in their stadium in Ohio. So, I mean, he's week 1 has got a lot of pressure, much less any other day after that.
Yep, that's true. Well, Jay, I agree with you on the Bond pickup. I like Bond. I think it's a good pickup for Cleveland. Cleveland's got nothing to lose. Like you said, they're probably not paying a lot of money for him. So I think it's a good pickup for Cleveland. I know you had some more. I think you had something else in NFL you wanted to bring up. I thought.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the Chiefs. You know, without Rashee Rice, they are not a top 5 offense. I'm gonna say that one more time. Without Rashee Rice, they are not a top 5 offense. Go look at the stats. When Rashee Rice is in there, Patrick Mahomes' stats blow up. When Rashee Rice is not in there, his stats look a little bit more pedestrian. They need Rashee Rice big time to go, along with all the other teams or all the other players that they have as well. But they need a Rashee Rice. Patrick Mahomes for 80. Excuse me. That cocaine hit the wrong nostril. My bad. I'm kidding. I don't do drugs. No, but seriously, if you look at his numbers, if you look at Patrick Mahomes' number, 84% of the time when Rashee Rice is in the lineup, the ball's going to him. 84% of the time. Because we all know that Kelsey is taking kind of a backseat. I really feel like Kelsey's his play is kind of diminished a little bit. I would be curious to see what he does this year. I think Taylor Swift screwed up Travis Kelsey. I do. I think a woman always makes an athlete weaker because it requires attention. It requires a lot of distraction away from what you're trying to do. When you look at Travis Kelsey prior to Taylor Swift, he's a phenomenal guy. Hungry, a beast, out there wanting to kill it. Taylor Swift, now he's growing the hair longer. He's getting the fancy suits. He's looking all Kardashian'd up, right? He's doing debut songs or whatever it is with Taylor Swift. Now he's in the music industry. Too many distractions. Taylor Swift, you have killed Travis Kelce. I'm just saying.
I can't argue that point.
But I do think that when Rashee Rice is in that offense, that they have the capabilities of being a top 5 unit. When Rashee Rice is there, now they're going to lose Rashee Rice for 4 games. He's going to do that 4-game suspension. I want to say it's around week 7. I think he comes back after the bye in week 10. So actually, his next game back after the bye would be week 11. I think he comes back. I think he probably comes back week 11. So I think he leaves in week 7. I think he comes back in week 11. So they're going to have those weeks in between where they won't have Rashee Rice. I think you're going to see a more pedestrian version of that Chiefs offense.
Jay, do you know why they're doing it week 7, 8, 9, 10? Why they're doing it that way?
I don't know. I didn't get when I was reading the article. I didn't get that far into it. I don't have that information. I just know that I just know that those were this. I know it was supposed September 30th. I think is when I want to say September 30th, maybe even when his when I want to say September 30th when his band starts.
That would be if it's September 30th. That'd be around game 4.
So maybe week 4 to week whatever it is after that. Week 4 or week 5, he starts that band. Okay. Which still would put him at somewhere around, being out close to, week 10, I think. It was week 10 they have a bye, so I would put it back at week 11. Okay. But yeah, so it should be around week 4, week 5, I think, when he does that suspension.
All right. So yeah, well, one big key is Xavier Worthy. I think they need him to play well and stay healthy too. They've had a lot of injuries with the receiver, but I agree. I think the team's a lot better with Rashee Rice in that lineup. I agree with it.
Yeah, I just feel like I might be wrong on this. God knows, everybody knows I hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles, but I mean, it's another year where they're looking like they could repeat as much defense as they added through the draft. I think they added like 2 linebackers and a safety and something else. I mean, they beefed up that linebacker unit, defensive unit. So I'm still expecting big things from Philly, unfortunately. I know the one other thing I was going to talk about was Hunter. Travis Hunter with Jacksonville. I'm going to kind of go back there just for a second. So right now it looks like he's battling an upper body injury and may miss week 1 versus the Saints. We haven't even gotten out of preseason yet, Tony, and we're already talking missing week 1 due to injury. I got to think that they need to get Travis just on defense or offense, whatever side they want to play him on, and stop trying to do this damn dual package thing, because I just think he can't I don't think he can stay healthy. I think it's going to ruin his career trying to play both ways.
I think you're right, Jay. I don't think it's going to work. And honestly, without him, do you think he was? How do I say this right? Do you think that he was that high up of a pick if you would have just said, okay, we're just taking him as a wide receiver, or if you was just taking him as a cornerback, or do you think everybody got caught up on the both that taking him that high could turn out to be a little bit of a mistake?
Yeah, I think drafting him that high, if they plan to play him both ways, is going to prove bad, because I don't think he stays healthy. And the best ability is availability. And if you're not available to play because of injury, then you're basically no good to the team, and you just waste a draft pick trying to play him both ways. I think at some point he's going to have to make a decision. You either do it wide receiver or you do cornerback. I don't think you do both. And I don't know if he's going to make that decision or if he's going to stick with doing both. But I think for the longevity and maybe even the overall production value of him, they need to go one way or the other. You can't ride both of these fences. It's just it's too much.
And a lot of people, and I'm one of them, and it's Chris, and I think you have too. That was one of the things we talked about Shedeur. Hey, they didn't play anybody. Well, guess what? Travis Hunter didn't either. I mean, they didn't play great. He wasn't up against great defenses as a wide receiver. I'm not saying he's still not a good wide receiver. I'm not saying that. But the competition level, the defensive backs he went against or not, the defenses he went against wasn't top defenses. Same thing when he played defense. The wide receivers and the players he played against wasn't top players. So, got to be great on the curve a little bit. I'm still not saying he's not going to be successful and can't be a great player. I just don't know. Well, the jury's out, definitely. And I don't know if he was worth that high of a pick.
I think if he went in as a wide receiver only, I still think he obviously he's going to go first round. I just don't think he goes as high. And then if you're going to have him going as cornerback specifically, I think his draft capital drops. Either way, if he doesn't do the dual threat thing, his draft capital is going to drop.
Well, I don't think.
And let's be honest. It's not like Travis Hunter being out of Colorado has had, and it was made this decision many a times, has had the best competition. I mean, you can make the same remark for Travis Hunter about that as you did for Shedeur, saying, well, Jay, he didn't play against the best of the best, so that's why his stock dropped. Well, I mean, they're both in that same boat. Both of them play for Colorado. Both of them didn't play against good competition. You really don't know what you have in either one of them until you see them go up against elite competition, right? And then you know what you got. Right now, it's a bunch of what ifs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you 100%. I don't know. I mean, I think because if you look at the wide receiver position, I can think of 2 or 3 receivers that, if I was just talking about a receiver that came out of college this last year, there were better receivers than him, in my opinion. The cornerback, I don't know, because I didn't follow the cornerback, so I'm not going to comment on that because I really don't know. But the wide receiver position, I thought there was several wide receivers that I thought was better than him.
Yeah, I don't. Joe said Eagles suck. Goes on to says Travis's girl left up. Joe, I saw that on Facebook too, but I really believe that that's just troll work. I don't think that that's actually a real thing, unless you saw an article.
Yeah, I think it's fake.
Yeah, I just feel like that's fake news because it goes on to talk about 40 million lawsuit, this, that, and the other, and I just I just think that's trolled news. I think if that was a real thing, I think it'd be all over ESPN, it'd be all over Bleacher, it'd be all over, I think Adam Schefter, I think somebody out there is reporting it.
I agree. Well, Jay, is there anything else you want to get into till we go to the hot seat segment?
No, I think we touched on that most of them. Maybe let's just talk real quick, Brian Flores, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I talked about this with Bo. on Coast to Coast. I thought I'd talk with you about it as well. And I was hoping to get Gonzo in here too to see what he thought about it, but that's all right. I'll get Gonzo on Monday because I do want to get his opinion on it. Brian Flores is going to trial. It has been accepted against the NFL for all the stuff that's come out towards him and the ruining rule and just not, he's had 6 head coaching interviews and has not been hired, this, that, and the other. So I think now, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm one of those kind of guys. I am a Brian Flores guy. I liked what he was doing out there in Miami up until they fired him. I felt like he was doing a good coach. I felt like he rebuilt or helped rebuild that program to what it is now. And I feel like he's a good coach, and I still feel like he's one of the elite coaches in the league. I like the way he thinks. Now he is kind of an asshole. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. He's not a nice guy. He kind of just says what he means and means what he says, and there's no real subtleness. He's kind of a frank, blunt, whatever word you want to talk about. That's him. But I appreciate a blunt person, Tony. I like it when you're blunt. I like it when you give me the real deal and don't sugarcoat things. Just tell me what it is, because I don't like to be bullshitted. And I don't think anybody likes to be bullshitted. I think most people want to know what the real deal is so they know where they legitimately stand.
Yep.
And I think in some ways that has hurt Brian Flores in some ways in terms of not getting those interviews and not getting those head coaching jobs. And things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I still think he deserves to be coaching in the league. I also feel like Gruden should be coaching in the league. I mean, emails be damned. It is what it is. But I there's a lot of things out there that are sent through emails. And there's been a lot of people that have been allowed to come back to and work in this league that have done worse things. I'm just saying. There have been worse things out there. So I think I do. At some point, I really expect Gruden to land a coaching job. I don't know who it would. Maybe Miami at some point, possibly. Flores, on the other hand, I don't know. That's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. We'll see. We'll see if he gets. And I think a lot of it just has to do with the way he speaks and the way he interviews. I think it just hasn't gone over well.
Jay, is he coaching right now, like an assistant or something?
Yeah, he's a coordinator with. He's a defensive coordinator with the Vikings.
I think if he has a couple of good years, I think he'll get another shot. I really do. If he wants one. And then I'm not sure about Gruden if he'll coach again. I think he deserves to. I think he was a scapegoat. I really do. I don't know all the details, but I think there was a lot more. If there was people that should have been punished, there was a lot more than just him. So I think he was kind of the scapegoat. But it's going to be interesting. I like Flores. I agree with you. I think Flores is a good coach. I think. And I think with what Miami has done, I think a lot of the stuff he might have been right about. So, and
I just saw here where it said Vrabel got into the middle of another training camp fight. I think Vrabel still thinks he's a player. He can just go in there and manhandle these young men. And but I like it. It kind of reminds me of that old school. Paul Bear Bryant Junction boys, I'm going to kick your ass. It's going to be done this way. Let's go. He seems like that kind of a coach to me, and I like that. I like that coach.
Yep.
But that was really all I had, Tony.
Okay. Well, let's go to the hot seat. The first question I have, Jay, is how do you think? There's been a lot of news. I don't know if you've seen so far in the off season and since we've started preseason about how the Bears are looking in preseason. So my question to you is, how are the Chicago Bears going to finish this year? What do you think? What kind of record are the Bears going to have? I've heard a lot of stuff said that they're not looking good. The quarterback's not look good. Been a lot of confusion. I've heard that the team is having a hard time getting the system. That it's a complex system that Detroit ran, and that they are struggling. So how do you think the Bears finish this year?
Yeah, I absolutely think that the Bears are going to finish in last place. But we got to be realistic about the expectations for the Bears, right? I mean, they do have added a lot of pieces here and there. I mean, brought in some offensive linemen. We know they brought in Dooney from the Chiefs. They've done some good things, but the thing is this culture and this Bears organization has been so bad and for so long.
Yeah.
You cannot think that just because you bring a coach in, by the end of training camp, all this is going to go away, and you're just going to be the best thing since sliced bread. You're going to go out there and you're going to kick ass. No, that's not the way it works. It takes a little bit of time to change the culture, to get these guys thinking in a certain kind of way, to have them thinking in his way. And it may be a little bit more complex system. I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Because I don't think Eberflus was the right coach anyway. I don't think he did a good job anyway when he was there, and I don't really like him with the Cowboys. But I can't control that. That's out of my control.
Yeah.
I think the Bears, I expect them to be last. I expect Caleb Williams to continue to struggle as he learns, because I have not heard one positive thing about Caleb Williams in training camp. And last time I checked, are we now in week what? I guess we're in week 2 of preseason.
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, we're a second week into preseason, which means a lot of training camp has gone by, and yet we're still trying to figure out if Caleb Williams is going to be a bust or if he's going to be positive. That's never a good thing. If a guy was really going to be good, you should be seeing some positive feedback on him. And the fact that he has accuracy issues, which seems to be the biggest thing with him, is accuracy issues. Yeah, and the fact that they've been thrown off that field, I got to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a rough haul for Brian Johnson, but I think he will get it squared away. But it's going to take a little time, Tony. You got to give that man at least two. I'd say about at least one more year to really get a culture installed and a way of doing business installed, because they have been a train wreck since for decades.
Yeah.
So you can't just correct a decade's worth of crazy. It's going to take at least 2 or 3 years to really implement in people's brains a winning culture, what a winning culture looks like, and all these things. It takes time, but mostly it takes consistency. So he's going to have to be consistent for the next 3 years in the way he does things to get this team to start buying in to his style of football that he brings from Detroit. So for those reasons, I got him last, Tony.
Yeah, I think they're going to be probably last. I'm predicting 6 wins, and it's like you said, he's a first time head coach. This is the first time he's been a head coach. He's had success as a coordinator, but he's never been a head coach before. Now, do I think if he was an experienced coach, I would have more faith in him be able to turn it around quicker? But I agree with you. I think it's going to take 2 or 3 years to turn it around. Perfect example is Washington Commanders. They turned it around last year after being really bad, but they had an experienced coach, had a guy that been around for a long time. He wasn't a first-year head coach. So I think that's one reason that experience helped them turn Washington around quicker. Now, if he would have been a more experienced coach, I think there'd be more of a chance. But I also think Jaden Daniels is, in my opinion, a lot better quarterback than Williams. I was high on Williams his junior season. And then his senior season when he had that game against Notre Dame, and he hadn't been the same since. Notre Dame knocked the crap out of him, and he's been looked like he's seen ghosts ever since. So I'm not real high on Williams. I think he's going to struggle in the pocket.
Yeah, I know. Again, I'm right there with you. Everything that you said is exactly the way I feel about Caleb as well. And real quick, Joe, I'm glad you asked that question. Hey, Pags wasn't on the show today. He was taking care of business. So, yeah, that's probably why you didn't see us on his page today. But if you go to ESPN, like you already are, and are a follower of ESPN, Coast to Coast is put out on our platform on our YouTube and our Facebook. So you'll be able to catch it. If it's not on Pags, just come over to our page, or just come to our page first and say hell with Pags, and you'll catch the show there. Okay. But anyway, so what's the next question we got, Tony?
Got a few more. My next one, I think it's going to be an interesting one. Who has the better year, C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels?
Oh, God, that's a hard one. That is such a hard one.
Stroud's going to his 3rd year. Daniels is going into that sophomore year, which sometimes they slump, which Stroud did a little bit last year. I didn't think it was a big slump, but he did fall back a little bit.
I'm going to go with CJ on that. just because I feel like his receiving group is a little bit better than what it is over in Washington. But also, McLaurin still has not gotten a deal done, and we're inching closer and closer to week 1. I still expect at some point they're going to get a deal done with McLaurin, but I wonder how long it's going to take the two of them. Because you get a little rusty if you haven't played in a while, and he's been out for a while, so they haven't been able to throw balls together. I don't know if they do it if they're doing it on the side. I don't know anything about that, but if they're not, they may have to do a little bit to get that rhythm. And again, sophomore slump, people now know who Jayden Daniels is. They now got a lot of tape on him to watch, study, and prepare for. And even though CJ took a little bit of a step back in his sophomore year than he did his first year, you got to remember, he made the playoffs his second year in. Every year he's been in, he's made the playoffs. So his sophomore slump didn't prevent him from getting into the playoffs. So for that reason, I still feel like CJ's the guy. I don't think that Jayden has taken that position over from him just yet. So for that reason, I'm going to go with CJ. I still think he has more to prove.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Man, it's tough. It really is a tough one. I'm going to go with Stroud. I'm going to go with Stroud also because the thing, like you said, with McLaurin, I think McLaurin is a big thing. I think that can really hurt him if he don't get signed. So yeah, I'm barely by just a little bit. I'm going to go with Stroud also. Next question: does Shedeur Sanders play in a regular season game this year?
See, that the reason why that's a hard one to answer is just because
You don't know about injuries stuff.
I don't know how long this oblique's going to keep him out for. I've seen obliques keep you out for a week. I've seen obliques keep you out for a month. It really just depends on how fast he can heal back from this oblique and get back in the preseason. Because right now, he doesn't have the job. Right now, it's Flacco's job to lose. And as long as it's Flacco's job to lose, that means somebody has to go out there and ball out and show consistency and take that job from him. And also, but then again, Flacco, if he takes it, so I will say this. I think Flacco is going to, if CJ comes back now, I mean not CJ, if Shedeur comes back now, balls out when he comes back, if he has 1 or 2 games left, there's a possibility that he would be the number 2 guy. I think Flacco, regardless, I think Flacco gets the start this season. I think he is just, as long as he don't get no injuries, which I don't think he will, because I don't think they're going to play him in the preseason. But I think Flacco is going to be your starter. I think if Shedeur comes back and balls out for how many games in the preseason he can ball out for, 1 or 2, whatever it is, I think he has a chance to solidify the number 2 spot, and then everybody else will work their way out from there. But in all honesty, I think the only way Shedeur makes it onto the field is if Flacco gets hurt. That would be my opinion. Or unless the Browns are just getting beat so damn bad that they give him some garbage time minutes.
I agree with you to a certain degree, except I don't think Sanders will be the number 2 quarterback. I think he's going to start the season number 3 if the other quarterback they drafted ahead of him is healthy. I think they're higher on him than Shedeur. But I do think I don't think Cleveland's going to have a great record. So I think towards the end of the season, I think both those young quarterbacks will see the field. So I think Sanders will get an opportunity to see the field, and I think the other guy will too. Because I think towards the end of the year, maybe the last 4 games of the season, they may want to see what they've got. And because is
Phillips back from injury? Is his injury thing over with? Have they said if he's going to start? Because I have not looked into that at all.
I haven't seen.
Okay. I guess we'll find out then as time goes on. Maybe I'll try to do some digging on that and find out Monday and see where we can revisit this topic on Monday and see what the quarterback situation, at least injury wise, what the quarterback situation looks like in Cleveland.
I've got 2 more questions we're going to do, Jay, and then we're going to get out of here. My next one is: who has the better year, Durant or LeBron?
Durant.
Okay.
I do. I think Durant. And the reason why is I think Durant will log more minutes. I think Durant is in a position in this team where he doesn't have to be the leader. He just has to go out and ball. Just ball. Don't worry about leading the team. Just ball. And when you put Durant in a position like he was in Golden State, I think Golden State was the best prime example where he was able to go in. He didn't have to be a leader because they already had that in Steph and the Dubs and all that, and Draymond and Clay and all them. He didn't have to do shit. All he had to do is go in there, hit his 3-ball, and ball out. That's all he had to do. And he actually got MVP for doing that. And so if he can go into Houston and take on that same type of role like he did with Golden State, because he don't have to be the leader. You got Van Fleet for that. You got Amen Thompson for that. You got other guys for that. All he has to do is go in there and ball. And if he does that, he's going to get more than enough three-point opportunities because let's be honest, Houston doesn't have a lot of consistent three-point opportunity shooters. So that's what they're going to use Durant for. And not that Durant goes to the paint a whole lot. He's more of a perimeter guy. So I think if Durant goes in there and balls on that three-point line, yes, he will. And again, Bron is 41. I'm not trying to knock Bron out, but let's be honest, it's Luka's team now.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I think Durant is going to have more of an impact on the Rockets than I think what Bron's going to have on that Lakers.
Okay, I agree with you. I would go with Durant also. I think he's on a better team. Got better players overall around him. I know LeBron's got another great partner, there with Luka. But I'm gonna go with Durant because I think LeBron is not like you said, LeBron's not the star anymore. But I think on Houston, even though he don't have to do everything, if you look at that team and experience-wise, Durant is the star, at least for now, of that team. So I think Durant has the better season. My last question, Jay, does the Thunder win it again? And then let me add something to that. And who is their biggest threat to keep them from winning?
Yeah, man. They didn't lose anybody.
Nope.
There ain't nobody injured on that team. I don't know a team won. I will tell you this. I think they have a real good shot at repeating. And the team that's going to threaten them, who I believe is going to threaten them, is going to be the Rockets. I do. And the reason why I say that to you is because with Durant, we got a three-point shooter now, which is really one of the biggest things that hurt us. We still got good defense. And, I think, if we would have got production out of Jalen Green during that Golden State series, other than the one game when Butler was out, I think we were destined to take out Golden State. We should have been playing Minnesota. But again, that's spilt milk. But I do think that this team is good enough. Their bench is deep enough. Their coach is experienced enough to make a deep playoff push. I really believe that. And I think this year, when we go at it again, we're not going to be having to worry about three-point shooting. I really think Durant, that's what Durant does. One thing about Durant, you can't deny, that man can shoot the three ball. He may not be Steph, but there ain't too many Stephs in this world. But that man can shoot the damn ball. And that's the one position that we were lacking from. When you're only getting 4 to 6 points from your point guard or your shooting guard at that time, yeah, you're not going to do jack crap. You're not. Yeah. That dude got to produce. And I do think that he will produce. He don't have to worry about assists. He just got to, hey, watch this, man. Van Fleet, catch and shoot, baby. Catch. That's all you got to do. Just do you. So I expect us to give the Thunder a run for their money this year. I really expect us to get a run for their money. Whether we can beat them or not, I don't know if I'm as confident, but I think we definitely give them a run for the money.
Yeah, I think they're the big favorites to win it all. Honestly, Jay, and I followed the East more because, the Pacers. I don't think there was anybody in the East. And even though I know the Pacers, went to game 7 games with them. And, of course, they don't have a Halliburton. I don't think there's anybody in the East that can beat the Thunder.
No. I guarantee they're not. When Halliburton went down, the chances of the East went down. I don't think New York can get it done. I don't think they're deep enough to bench to get it done. I still feel like Cleveland is too damn soft. Unless they can prove me otherwise, I still feel like they're too damn soft. I think the Thunder would absolutely manhandle them.
I think because the style that the Pacers played is similar to Oklahoma. That's why that's why the Pacers had such a good chance against them. And they still didn't get the job done. Now, saying that, I think there are teams that and I'm not putting down Houston, and I'm not putting down other teams in the West. I think if one of those teams does upset Oklahoma, I think teams in the East would match up better with Houston than the Thunder or another team. And I think I'm going to. I agree with you. I'm going with Houston as the team with the best shot, but I'm going to have a dark horse, and it depends. It depends on health, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. I think if they stay healthy, they could be very dangerous too, because of experience and stuff. Now, of course, the big one is the guy that came from the Lakers. Can he stay healthy? But how would that guy feel by getting traded to the Lakers for Luka? And if he went to Dallas and he could stay healthy and win a championship, he would be saying, "Shove it up the Lakers' ass." If he could get the job, if they could get the job, because he is a good player. I think he took a lot of heat. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know he got hurt. And people call him Mr. Glass and everything. But the dude's a pretty good ball player. He really is. I mean, but he has had some health problems. But Dallas is my dark horse.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong on this, but I'm almost positive that the Thunder and the Rockets are going against each other week 1 of the season. Am I right on that? Because it seems like they're going. I feel like they're going. Yeah, they are. So they actually opened this season on October 20th. God, that's not that far away. So in 6 days, Tony, in 6 days, the NBA starts.
What day?
October 21st.
Not 6 days, Jay. We're in.
Oh, my bad. I'm in August.
My bad. Oopsie.
Jay, we'll get ready for the World Series too.
Man, I know, right? What a douchebag I am.
Hey, how did the Astros end up?
Man,
You're in the future.
Did I tell you I've been working hard over the yard? I'm a little waterlogged, but either way.
The future. Can you tell me how the Reds make it?
Hey, but I will tell you this though: we start the season. Speaking of that, Tony, we start the season against them.
And speaking of the schedule and everything, I want to give a shout out and congratulations to Detroit Pistons, who had a good season last year. They're getting 16 primetime televised games this year. The Detroit Pistons, team. Wow. So I think that's pretty cool. That they're getting that. They probably getting the spots that the Pacers not getting since they lost Halliburton.
I'll tell you though, man. Hey, losing Halliburton was huge. Because I think if they don't lose Halliburton, I still feel like that the Pacers had a shot to win the NBA Finals, but Halliburton's injury just took them out of the equation.
Jay, the way Halliburton, and of course I'm biased, I'm a Pacer fan, but you've seen the start of the game, the way Halliburton came out. In games where he starts off like that, he usually scores 30 points or more. I really think the Pacers are going to win that game. Of course, I know, everybody's going to say, well, yeah, you wish, but I understand we didn't win the game, but I think we really had a good shot until he went down. I know we was at Oklahoma, but he came out on fire. He had them Reggie Miller eyes. He looked like he was ready to go. So, but hey, it is what it is. I tell you what, I know people say, hey, it's hard to get back. But I think the type of player that Halliburton is, I think the Pacers will get back there. I'm not going to say it's going to be definitely not going to be next year. And I'm not going to say it's going to be 2 years. But I think it may be 4 or 5 years down the road. But I think the Pacers will get back to the finals. I'm not going to say they're going to win it. You got to get there first. But I think I
absolutely feel like you guys are going to be back in it. I don't even think that's, and I do think you could win the finals. I wouldn't. If they keep this team together. Well, I take that back. They did lose what's his name to they lost Miles Turner to Milwaukee. I thought I was done move on Miles Turner. I felt like Miles Turner should have just stayed with the Pacers. I feel like he would have better shot with the Pacers than he would have with the Bucks. I don't know why. Anyway, that's it.
Well, they offered him 22 or 23 million, and he went back to Milwaukee. And smart business move. We're going to give you, I forget what the total was, $27 million a year. But you take it right now, you can't go back to the Pacers. You take the deal right now or it's off the table. And he took it. Because the Pacers never even got a chance to counter.
You know what though? I mean, I know money's money, but sometimes money ain't everything. Sometimes you got to realize what exactly are you trying to do? Are you trying to win a title, or are you just trying to get paid? Because I'll be honest with you, even with him there, I don't think Milwaukee's got a shot in hell to win the title.
I don't either.
I think you're just taking it for the money. So if you're just taking it for the money, if that's what motivates you, then fine. But I think I think that $23 million is a nice contract, and you have a really legit shot once you get Halliburton back from injury to compete for that crown again. I mean, easily compete for that crown again.
Yeah, and most people don't think Giannis is going to be there, and a lot of people don't think Giannis will be there in 2 years. So now you're there, and you're signed up for 4 years. If Giannis leaves, you're going to be a team that's going to be tough to make the playoffs.
Yeah. And Joe, the only reason I don't want you to think I'm counting Boston out, but you got to understand that Jason Tatum's not there right now. He's injured. He's going to miss the whole season. And without Tatum, you're not going to do anything. And they also talked about moving pieces. So I think right now, I think the Celtics are getting ready to go through a transitional period in that team. And when you're going through a transitional period and you don't have Jason Tatum as your star for a season, it really makes it hard to put them in contention or even in the conversation of contention.
Now, what was Boston, a 2 seed last year? If they make the playoffs, I think the high they could get this year would be 6.
Yeah.
And
again, those are big ifs, honestly.
Yep.
Those are big ifs. It was without Tatum there, I don't think you got a shot now.
And you lost Porzingis too.
I'm actually looking at Boston. If you were going to talk about them in the playoffs, if that was a thing, I would be looking at more as a play-in team than an actual already solidified in that top 6.
It just depends on if they can adjust and Brown can become the main guy, because Brown's still a very good player. But again, you're losing a guy, Tatum, who was the 1A and Brown was the 1B. So 1A is gone, and then you lose Porzingis, who a lot of people thought was going to help take him to another championship. So I mean, you lost both those pieces, and I think they lost some other stuff too. So they're not. No, I don't think they're a top 4 or 5 team in the East.
Right. I got them as a play-in. So take it for what it's worth. I guess we're gonna find out in about not 6 days. That's for sure. It'll be a little bit longer. But all right, folks. Like Tony said, we have wrapped up our show for today. I hope you like the content, and if you have, please give us a like and subscribe on our YouTube as well as Gonzo's Sports Room YouTube, ESPN YouTube. Just give it a little subscribe over there. We certainly would appreciate it. And again, we will be here for the rest of our time at this time slot. So we are back to our original time slot. Is this right? This is our original time slot, right, Tony? Is this?
Yep. 2 o'clock, 2-ish.
I'm trying to think of all these damn time zones: Eastern, Pacific, Central.
2 o'clock.
Trying to keep all these damn time zones. But anyway, yeah. So 2 Eastern, 1 Central. We'll catch you guys back on Monday. And next time, it's your boy Jay McLovin and Tony the Tone Gonzalez saying deuces.